somebody may not have, but that it opens up God's healing in their lives. When I went to the hospital in the morning, actually, when Nate texted me and said, Michelle's mom's to be taken to the hospital, bring me down. It was on a Saturday. I'd been working in my shop, in the garage. It was my day out. I was working in my shop, so I threw on some clothes and headed from Shakopee down to the hospital. And by the time I got there, she was gone. Spent some time, quite a bit of that day with you guys. And already started to hear stories, and I got to meet somebody that were there in the hospital and hearing stories even about that day. A couple of things that came out were that she absolutely loved the Serenity Prayer. You familiar with it? And the funny thing was that Michelle said, people came up to her and said, I didn't know you were an alcoholic, because the Serenity Prayer is something that AA uses all the time. It had nothing to do with it. But actually, AA stole it from other people.
Yeah.
I went and I found the expanded version of it. Maybe you've heard the first part of it. In fact, it's on one of the candles up here. It says, God give us grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, the courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Everybody's familiar with that part?
Yeah.
Do you know the second half of it?
Mm-hmm.
Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not that I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Wow. You know, we glom onto the first part of that, which gives us hope, but the second part of that brings peace. As we're sitting here today, there's a passage of scripture that my mom loves, and it's grown to be something that I use in moments like this. It's from Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all of my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high I cannot attain it. This first part of this wonderful song that's written by David, it tells us that God is not distant. And there's going to be times when you feel alone, you feel hollow, you feel abandoned. Ellen wants you to know that God is not distant. He's not the estranged parent. He's a loving father. He's the father that we all should have. He's the parent that we all should have. The second part of this that I'm going to read is actually from the end of it. Verses 13 to 18. For you formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in the secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance, and in your book were written every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when there was yet none of them. How precious are your thoughts, O God, how vast the sum of them. If I were to count them, It would be more than the sand. I awake and I am still with you. So while God is not distant, the second thing that I just read tells us that life is not meaningless. And it's amazing that somebody who spent the majority of the last number of years in a room, right? Her life is not meaningless. It's not a matter of her traveling places or having a high-powered job, or her character has impacted you. And her life is not meaningless. Our lives here are not meaningless. She has struggled for years with physical issues, right? Some of those issues get passed on genetically. But God knew her when she was formed. God knew every day that she would have. 55 years is not long enough. But God knew every day. He held her every day. Life is not meaningless. Your life today is not meaningless. And then right in between those two, that God is not distant and that life is not meaningless, we hear this. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I go to heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, your right hand will take hold of me. If I say, surely the darkness shall overcome me, and the light around me will be night, even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night is as bright as the day. For darkness is as light. So God is not distant, life is not meaningless, but death is not final. And while we have a box up here that has remains in it, it does not contain hell. Death is not final. And you're saying, well, you're a pastor. You're supposed to say that. I'm a person that understands that I was made by a creator who loves me so deeply that he did not want me to be separated from him forever. Loved me so much, loved you so much that he sent his only son to pay the penalty for that which separated us. And we were separated not because he chose to be separated from us, but we chose to be separated from him. And then paid the penalty for that separation. We were able to be united with him. And when we take a step from this life into the next, life doesn't end. Death is not final. One other thing that was mentioned to me that was very important, aside from coffee and candles, the Serenity Prayer, was another poem that maybe you've heard. I want you to take this as we close today and think about this. One night I dreamed a dream. As I was walking on the beach, with my Lord, across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene, I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand. One belonging to me, and one belonging to my Lord. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints. I noticed that many times along my life, especially in the lowest and saddest times, there was one set of footprints. It's really troubled me, so I asked the Lord about it. Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. He whispered, my precious child, I love you and I will never leave you. Never, ever during your trials and testings. When you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I was carrying you. As we celebrate Ellen's life today, and we leave from here, Michelle, you've had postings on Facebook. I've been watching your Facebook. About how do I make it, right? Pain's real.
She always said, I love you, baby.
You make it one breath at a time, a moment at a time, one step at a time. And when you won't feel like you can take the next step, you know that He's carrying you. So I've got a mug that I brought for you today, so that you can have coffee every day.
It has a sticker on it, so you have a fit. They're laughing because they don't.
You notice the sticker on the back of the mug?
She gets it from her mother.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
They all wrote.
But what it says on the outside of the mug is His love never fails.
No, she firmly.
And that's for you. That's for you to remember, treasure, and allow Him to hold on to you. And you've got to
Thank you,
all
Mike.
have people here for that. If you've never understood God in the way that I've described Him today, I invite you to reach out to myself, Michelle. I'd love to talk with you more about it. Because life does not need to be hopeless in the midst of the pain. I'd like to close with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this family. Thank you so much for Ellen's life. I praise you that right now she is in your presence, where there is no darkness. There is no limitation. Her body has been freed. And you've known her since before she was born, and we treasure her now. I pray, Father, that you would put your arms around this family and that you would, and these friends. I pray, Father, that you would be their strength for each day. And may we see those one set of footprints and know that you're guiding us. So I lift them up to you in your holy name. I invite you to take some more time and share with Michelle, give her those hugs like I'm on. Give Sean
Lots
those
of
hugs.
hugs.